Hello once again, it is time for a recap, which I will not be calling a monthly recap at this point, because this is 3 months in one. So, it has been a while indeed, because, well, you know how summer is. Sometimes you get busy. And in my situation, I've been very unfortunately busy, and I have so much to do, and so little time, and too many obligations to do. Regardless, it has been an interesting time. I've been doing a lot of stuff, and of course, school has been working. There's plenty of things to do, and those will come up in due time. Some of you might have watched some of the streams, of course. Now those will be some of those recaps will be here as well, and or at least review portions of those will be. There is still a lot of, at least 3 reviews in progress, and those are Metahorror therapy sessions, and then of course the Indivisible review is still under progress, and actually there's a couple more videos, but those will come in due time. I've been trying to do more streaming, but there's been other stuff like health issues, which I will not be discussing here too much because that's not important. Yeah, but with that rambling of my real life situation out of the way, we shall be conversing about 4 particular aspects of gaming that I've been doing recently. And to start this off, we will be talking about the biggest thing that I kinda did finally manage to finish. And that is, I managed to finish a Library of Ruina. I am not a very good at I'm really bad at strategy and RPGs, and generally I'm not a very good gamer. So that took me 150 hours to beat. And I'm not exactly proud of that fact, because a lot of people beat it in 120, but I did just do a lot of pointless grinding and just jamming and just chilling, doing some random stuff there. I have not completed it because there's still a lot of, well, not actually that many, there's not a lot of things that I would need to do, some random achievements, and I don't think I will be going back to get those, because a lot of them require very specific things and just rolling the dice and just, a lot of RNG. But I will be, of course, doing a review for that game as well eventually, but I don't know when. I am very happy that I beat the game. I was in the last stretch 20 hours before finishing the game. I was wondering, well, this has been pretty good, and here is the finale. And then it just kept going for 20 hours, because there was a lot of stuff there, so much, and it just kept going and going and going, and it was good. Now, it didn't feel like it dragged out, but I could see how some people would feel that it did drag on far too long, especially in the finishing sections, and I will say there was a lot of moments where I did struggle far more than I really should have, realistically speaking. And it's not because of RNG, it's because I got lazy and complacent and didn't properly play the game with a lot of thought, but I was just idling and just mindlessly trying to beat the bosses, and that was the problem. I should have actually, read their abilities, read their descriptions and everything. So anyway, if you have not played Library of Ruina, it's from the Project Moon, and they have, all of their games are fantastic. Well, Lobotomy Corporation has a, well, if you know, you know, it is a rather interesting specimen, let's just call it. I do like it, but I will admit that it is quite a flawed game. Still, it is a unique one. But Library of Ruina is a really a masterpiece in so many ways, and I am struggling to explain exactly all of the reasons. But I will say, you don't need to play Lobotomy Corporation to get into Library of Ruin, of course. You don't need to play Limbus Company, because while it is set in the same world, it is, and I think it's chronologically quite a bit after, or at least apart after, or it like starts simultaneously at the ending of Library of Ruin. Well, like they're like a continuation. And while they do like have continuity, you don't like need that context. And I think Library of Ruin stands alone very, very well. And actually I do think Limbus Company also stands very well alone. Because that's where I started. I started going through the games in backwards. Well, actually no, I Lobotomy Corporation, then... no, actually, I did a little bit of Lobotomy Corporation, then I started playing Limbus Company, and then I went back and played a lot more of Lobotomy Corporation, and then hopped onto Library of Ruina, after giving up on being too bad at that game. But yes, Library of Ruina, a masterpiece. Very much a masterpiece. In most aspects. And I will say it is very polarizing, and I will say it is not for everyone. It is a very cognitively heavy game. You do need to actually pay attention and like think of a lot of minutia of your party setup, your loadouts, and there's so many little details. Now, I do not believe there was a lot of grinding actually involved, because there really isn't that much grinding, and you really don't need to grind. And with a lot of like simple planning, you do get through 90+% of the game, or even more, if you just like do constantly, you know, update your pages and update your characters and don't just roll with the same. There's a lot of fantastic aspects of the game. And one of the really interesting things that I really enjoyed for something that could be called a JRPG is that it does not suffer from a, how to call it, a number inflation. In a lot of JRPGs, the numbers get absurdly high. I do remember playing a lot of Final Fantasy X, and you just hit 16 times in a row with 999, like 5 nines in a row, like 100,000 damage almost. And it's just silly. It is not something that like makes any sense anymore. When the numbers get past quadruple digits, it's just pointless. And that's one of the reasons why Super Mario RPG has a lot of like nice things to it. It doesn't have a lot of number scaling to it. And that is something that I really stuck out to my mind in Library of Ruina, that the numbers don't get really high. They stay fairly, like really low in comparison to what they could be. And even though there is sometimes rather high numbers used, they are very much only for story emphasis. And even then, they are not that high in the grand scheme of things. And that kind of makes it so that a lot of the pages or the abilities that you use, the numbers are not as important as the effects themselves, and like a lot of strategy and clever planning will just like carry you throughout the most of the game, or all of the game. So, well, yeah, it's a strategy game. But yeah, it's like number inflation is a funny thing in that sense. Now, the story I absolutely adored. And I really adored a lot of the little details. And having come from playing Limbus Company, there's some really cute connections I was able to make from having played so much of that game, and how much it has taken, or it took effect from this game. And it's so just lovely little details there all around. And of course, we cannot go without mentioning the star of the show, which is Millie's music. The whole soundtrack is fantastic. I've been just jamming it so much. I already did like... That's one of the things about Limbus Company that I always love, is that the capstone songs are just... They are so good, just unimaginably good. And it's the same thing here. Like, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but let's just say that there's a lot of good songs here. A lot more than I actually expected, but listening to Lobotomy Corporation soundtrack, you can already see that the musical creation is like, there's a really solid core already built there, and they just improved upon it with every game, and yeah, that's very noticeable here. Of course, the story in Limbus Library of Ruina is very, very good, and I really enjoyed it, and it has a lot of interesting literary parallels, like a lot of references to a lot of other stories, not indirect, but like, not direct references, but where you can see that they have taken inspiration and they are just really having their own spin on some parts of the stories, which is the same with Limbus Company. Now, it's not in the... Limbus Company has a lot more direct references, but Library of Ruina has just a lot more nuance, and it's a self-contained story. It's a very, very good standalone piece for anything. And of course, the characters do get very... They are very, very interesting, let's just say that. What I very, very much appreciated is that even though Lobotomy Corporation has a lot of story that is important to the context of Library of Ruina, you don't need to play Lobotomy Corporation. They go through a lot of the important plot points and they explain it when it's necessary, and they explain it in context so that it makes sense without it being like obtrusive. So honestly, the storytelling is a masterpiece in this case, that you don't feel forced to go through this backstory, but you do get it very organically, and I really enjoyed that quite a bit. Now the gameplay itself, it's JRPG. You just use abilities and there's like a lot of micromanagement, a little finicky details, there's a lot of fun team building, but I can see how a lot of people would not actually enjoy the actual gameplay aspect. I did, but I can see how some people would not enjoy that. And yeah, and in that case, there's the internet. You can just look up builds online and be fine with that, and they are usually quite satisfactory. Now, actually, what got me through the game was when I abandoned. At some point in the end game, I was really stuck. I looked up guides online and they did not help me at all, and I just kind of was like, okay, let me just big brain my own builds here, and then they worked. So, you know, you need to know what you're building so you go into it properly, I guess. But yeah, it's very enjoyable. This is one of the games that I also do enjoy how I avoided literally every spoiler, which is surprising. So, because there's a lot of interesting story here that is very, very good, to say the least. Yeah. Also, I'll just give quick props to the voice actors. Really good voiceover work. Really nice voice acting. Very fantastic. Even though I do not speak Korean, well, you don't need to speak the language to understand the emotions. And while I do do my own independent studies into linguistics and that kind of things, I still do the inflections are really, really nice. The characters have a lot of personality, and it comes really through in their voice. Now, of course, the art does a lot to that extent, but still, the voice acting is top-notch. But yes, Library of Ruina, finally done with that. And what a story it was. I'm very happy with the experience, and I'm very satisfied to close this book of my life, to close this chapter. Yes, I'm not gonna be good with that parallel. It was a really good experience. So, another interesting thing that has happened. Ravenswatch received a DLC with 2 characters, These I will not be recording because that would require 2 runs, and I'm really bad with both of those characters. So, Romeo and Juliet. Interestingly enough, these characters were originally designed to be played together, and they reversed the decision that they can be played alone, which, well, I do get that. A lot of gamers play solo, so unfortunate. Now, however, the characters are really synergistic together, and I do like playing them with my friend, even though I'm really bad. So, yeah, I really enjoy how they interact with one another, and how, like, disgustingly adorable they are together with their voice lines, and yeah, it's quite a thing. They are very, very cute together, but it's also they are really freaking strong, and especially when I play with a certain friend, we are horrifyingly well in sync, which is kind of funny, because the characters don't require communication, or rather, you don't need to mention it like that, but rather they do like allow for wordless communication, or rather the game communicates it for you when you know how you interact with one another. So yeah, I really quite liked it. So it's a good DLC. It's nice, very nice. Also, I think it was free, and even if it wasn't, I would have paid quite a few dollars for that, or euro, or whatever. Bucks. Anyway, yeah, it was a good DLC. And another DLC that was released upon these 3 months, well, it wasn't released, I bought it a bit late, was the DLC for Astral Ascent. And I bought it. It has this new character and a lot of new biomes, and just in general, Astral Ascent has been receiving a lot of updates, even going back and recording the footage for this character that you probably will be seeing if you look at the screen. I was not expecting there to be so much new stuff, and the devs are constantly updating it, and there's like a lot, like they keep just constantly making it better and better. Like Astral Ascent is one of the best like action roguelikes that has been released in recent years, and it's not actually even a competition. It has a lot of really fun stuff to it, so I'm really happy with that game, and I would suggest, if you like action platformer roguelikes, that you give Astral Ascent a shot. It has a very heavy roguelike aspect, as in meta progression, which, you know, that's fine. It's not a rogue in the classical sense, but that's just a thing. It's a thing. It's fine. But yeah, the DLC is really lovely. It gave this new aspect where you can choose from 2 different biomes to go to, and you can see what bonus room there will be, and that is already a lot more gameplay agency that you receive, which is pretty good. So yeah, Astral Ascent DLC is very good. Very much worth it. And also, I do enjoy the character itself. Of course, I am quite biased. I enjoy dragons, and the character has a draconic theming to them, so it's very lovely. And a lot of the new stuff also is just like really freaking cool, so definitely worth it. I won't be talking too long about Limbus Company DLC, the newest Canto that arrived. I loved it. That's about all I have to say for that. I really liked it. Like a crap ton. Like, it was really good. Now, I'm not going to say that whenever there's a new Canto for Limbus Company, they keep one-upping themselves, because each of the Cantos so far has been thematically linked, and they are thematically self-containing, even though they tell a continuous story. and the characters do receive a lot of character development from one Canto to another, and it is very, very visible. Now, this Canto was focused on Honglu. I had not read that book. I only did a quick read through the synopsis, and unfortunately I have been unable to find a proper translated copy. So, you know what that means, time to learn yet another language, I guess. Well, actually I did find an online version of it, but I do like reading physical books, so. But yeah, I do. I really do enjoy Limbus Company. And now there's the cultivation event going on, which is... I haven't actually even looked at it during the creation of this video, so... But it's an interval once again, so should probably go and look at it. But yeah, Limbus Company, it's very good. It's just like too fair of a gacha game. You really don't need to spend money on it. But I wanna throw the creators some money. I wish I could throw more at them, but I can't afford. So, because they deserve it, the game's good. One of the best stories ever, I would say. Yeah, it's good. I'm looking very much forward to the next Canto as well, because it's going to be insane. It's going to focus on Ryoshu, and that's going to be quite the story. And for the games that I did also play during this time, we cannot go without mentioning Absolute Kino. Peak, one would even call it. Yes, I'm talking about Peak. I was aware of this game when it was being created because I follow the studio very closely. So they were updating us on it quite a bit beforehand. So it was really fun to see when it came out and how much of an impact it had. So, yes, it is Peak. You probably have already seen videos. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but rest assured, it is worth all the hype. Now, it is of course a lot more fun with friends, and that's what it is meant for. But it is actually kind of interestingly different challenge when you play it solo, and I do also kind of enjoy that aspect of it, that it is still somewhat balanced for single player. But of course, with a lot of friends, it's just really fun with friends. But yeah, it's good. It's very good. And with that, we have gone through practically all of the games. I will be talking about... I will insert stream highlights here as well, so enjoy those. Let us move on to pause that timer, and we'll go into this. So, Psychopomp, huh? I have a lot of feelings about that, despite actually being rather short period of test this time around, like, 30 minutes. First of all, I love grid-based dungeon crawlers. They are really, really cool and unique, and the restrictions of movement allow for a lot more control in the puzzles and environments, but also a lot more... The restrictions also require you to do a lot more with a lot less, and it makes you... While it might be immersion breaking for some people when you cannot actually move around in the environment, I personally very, very much enjoy how... It's hard to explain exactly what is the most interesting thing about it, but it is basically... The restrictions make the exploration feel a lot more... like, not immersive per se, But the fact that you cannot move completely freely, even though there was free camera in this one, it makes you yearn for more information. And that kind of yearning kind of builds up and pushes you to learn more about the world, and just like, in the way, restrictions that force you to immerse yourself. It is, or rather, they draw you in. At least that works for me, so I think that's how it works in my mind, so. Yeah, now of course, the story so far, in the beginning part, goodness gracious, it was insane. It was really psychotic in the most weird way possible. It's like a lot of weird metafiction here, and like it's like it feels like it takes a lot of stabs at like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and like it's so interestingly grotesque and like disgusting and grimy looking, and it takes a lot of advantage out of the fact that it has like a low poly aesthetic and makes everything seem dirty and nasty, and I love it so much. It's very, very creative. I really liked it quite a bit. Like the visuals are like a very, very strong point here. Now actually the music and sound design just in general was also very, very good, like especially the audio. Like it was a lot more, maybe immersive is the wrong word, but it felt very atmospheric, at least. So I kind of want to use the word immersive, but it just doesn't feel right for some reason. But yeah, and of course the game is mostly just based around exploration, and there is some combat there, which, you know, combat's fine. Grid-based combat in real time, that is a risky maneuver, but it is pretty cool. Now, of course, the visuals, like in the like cutouts and the 2D drawings like that, oh god, they have a lot of personality, and it's very amusing. I really enjoyed it so much. It's really, really, like, entertainment seems kind of weird word to use, because it doesn't exactly make you like, no, actually, I did enjoy it. It's very enjoyable. So, it's very entertaining. Not like laugh out loud, but like, oh goodness, now we're in for something special. That kind of entertainment. The fact that this game has so much personality is very good. And that makes it, like, very, very memorable. Like, it looks very, very memorable. It looks like something that's gonna stick in my mind for a while. Now, of course, I could be a little bit derogatory about it, that it is just a basic deranged kind of look that the art style has, and, you know, I guess that could be a negative. But it's integrated very well into the storytelling in that way, and it just feels very good. So yeah, no, I very much enjoyed it. So, yeah. Very good, very good. I'm gonna be very interested to continue this game forward. Let's go to this. So, Library of Babel. A very interestingly, something of a, well, it's a stealth platformer. Stealth is kind of an interesting term that they used here, because so far there wasn't anything, in the beginning at least, there wasn't any stealth. I don't think that's a bad thing, but it is a notable thing. I did like it a bit, quite a bit, because it did bring to mind, a lot of it is very reminiscent of the old, very, very, like the first Prince of Persia on like old MS computers, and those are very much something that I did not exactly play in my childhood, but a little bit later on in my teenage years. So, and I do like those. These are more of the cinematic platformers that are very, very interesting way of telling stories, and I really like exploration of some very unique storytelling methods in this manner, and they do have a very unique style of gameplay to them. Now, there is, of course, a lot of platforming here, which is an interesting way to limit yourself into 2 dimensions, but also they required you to have a 3rd dimension here in the way that you enter some buildings, for example. Now that's not the special thing here. What is special, of course, is the story itself that is being told here. It is rather interesting, thought-provoking that they chose the name the Library of Babel, because that has a lot of religious significance to it. But in the same manner, this game is very much focused on a like futuristic robots, but also they seem to be somewhat nomadic in the manner that they worked. So some sort of post-apocalyptic futuristic setting kind of a thing. And a lot of like techno jargon and random babble there, babble, that just kind of giving some flavor to the background. And I kind of am interested to delve a bit more into the background and the lore here to see exactly why they have chosen that kind of thing, because this kind of name isn't chosen just randomly. There is absolutely some significance to it, and I wonder what that is. Otherwise, it is, for the genre that it is in, there was nothing exactly that particularly spectacular. A bit more inventory management than I'm used to, and seemed to be a lot of inventory management, to be honest. And at least from the map, it looked like there is a lot of items that are to be collected. So it's gonna be interesting to see what exactly is the purpose of having that many of them, and how exactly functional and important they will all be. If they are mostly just going to be something like inventory puzzles and such. Regardless, it was rather interesting. I enjoyed it. Not the most, like, immediately sticking to my mind out of that, but still, at least felt rather unique. And of course, this genre isn't exactly overpopulated, to say the least. So, you know, it's fine to have these in the modern times, and I really like that this genre is also getting entries this late into, or these days, and that's cool. That's very cool. Something a bit more interesting was that there was the visual style is of course a very strong selling point here, because it is very like, it has a very unique look to it. So it's hard to explain. So, but I did enjoy the visuals at least. So it looked very unique. Yeah, let's say unique, because it doesn't look like extraordinarily pretty or memorable, but it is unique at the very least. So uniqueness is far more of a selling point than high fidelity or anything else. So yeah. So yeah, that was enjoyable. Okay. Guess. Yeah, I guess we'll have to get this. Okay. So. Oh man. That was Outer Wilds. This is one of the games that really kind of suffers from this 1 hour format, because it's so mesmerizing. There's a lot to say. That was beautiful. That was great. I really enjoyed that, but oh man. I'm just digesting everything that I just experienced, because even though I didn't even get to play that much, it's just that space as a topic is very beautiful, mesmerizing, enchanting. It's kinda consuming everything in my mind right now. I'm just kind of trying to process everything because it was very, very, very spectacular. I really like that a lot. So much. It was. I can see. I knew the premise already, but I didn't expect it to be like this powerful, to say the least, because even though I died freaking 3 times in that short span of a time, but even then it all felt very... It didn't feel hostile, but rather because of the safety of the like closed loop system and how the game works, it just drove the fact that you can die very freely and the punishment isn't severe. It really just was propelling me to just explore more wildly, but like I just wanted to keep going. It's kind of hard to explain, but the fact that it is so safe and not punishing, it invites you to explore more. It invites you to do reckless things and be a bit unsafe. I'm very flabbergasted with how it's currently taking over my mind quite a bit here, because it's just it's gonna be hard to like concentrate on the next games because it's starting to like consume everything in my mind right now. I want to explore more. Damn. That's good. That's very good. I can see why this took over the world for a while. It's beautiful. That's a very beautiful game. Damn. I want to play more. I really want to play more. But no. I'm not gonna deviate from the format. That's a very powerful presentation. It's a very inviting game. And it felt very intuitive. It's really one of the interesting things is that it just the game really spoke to my inner curiosity to explore. So it's very effective at that. So that's very good. God dang. Okay, no, that's enough. Okay, so I wanna be positive because there's a lot of cool things in this game. Like the switching in the perspective, you know, it's a little jank, but it's pretty cool. It's... I don't know, guys. It's peculiar. There was some kind of weird, like, conversation system where you had to collect, like, moods of replies and use those in... This game just didn't communicate, like, almost anything proper. It's... Okay. The controls are kind of okay. The lock on is very crucial because of the like 3D 2D blend of the game. The enemies can be in a different plane of access than you are, which means that you need the lock on to work properly so you can actually hit the enemies in that place. And it works, it's just really freaking jank. There is the pretty cool switching between 2D, 3D, and like different platforming, and like it is constantly just like platforming like Metroidvanias just generally are. There's no Metroidvania elements, however, but still. There are cool aspects, but it's a really unpolished mess. There's like not a lot of feedback to your inputs. Your attacks just don't feel like they do, like they hit. Now fortunately the lock on gives the enemies a health bar, so that's something. But the attacks just kinda, there's like very little input. The music is kinda okay, I guess. It's a little bit repetitive there, however. The sound effects are like off sync quite a bit. I kinda locked out there somehow. I just fell into a death plane and it didn't kill me, and there's lack of direction. It's pretty hard to tell where you're going. I like that you could like platform pretty freely, but this game really could do with a lot more polish, a lot of more polish. Like there's no menu here, the settings are pretty lackluster. Well, whatever menu there was for settings. There's no main menu or anything like that. I have no idea what's going on, which is a shame because there's a kernel of really good game. There's a lot of good ideas here, and I wish they would have explored them more. That's a shame. I wanted to like this. I'm gonna explore it a bit more later, like on my own time. But it doesn't... It really doesn't appear like that. It's so rough. It feels really rough, guys. I don't know what to say. I wish it was more polished. I didn't even reach any bosses, so... It's... I don't know. There was supposed to be like some kind of... What? There's a night-day cycle? Oh, okay, so... Okay... I don't know. It feels really... jank. I can't really recommend that for €5. That's like... That's a lot for something that feels this jank. I got stuck. It's so strange. I don't know. Not that good. Yeah, Spiritfarer. So I was starting to go over time because it's just too adorable. I think that was like very appropriate amount of time, about an hour. So yeah, it's cute. That is so cute. That game is. I can see why my friend enjoyed this. I was a little bit hesitant at the beginning because it felt like okay, it was just like that kind of nothing much, but I actually basically immediately lost my mind, kinda like lost my track of time there. So damn, that's okay. So there's a lot of good things to say. How do I start this? Okay, the game's really freaking cute. I really like that you can hug people. It's not a lot, but that's honestly... That's so cute. That makes me very happy. That's adorable, and I do like that a lot. Now, the other thing that I really do enjoy, everything about the controls is just like, it just feels... I don't know, it's just... All of the anime, everything just feels so... fun and warm. That's nice. That is very fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. That game is very cute. Like, there's... It's very hard to explain how... I think the way that to explain it simply is that it's very personable. It feels very... spirited, in a way. Like, it feels like it has a lot of heart to it, like so much. It has a lot of personality, and it feels very, very lovingly unique. I haven't yet finished any Spirit's questline, of course, so or something. I don't know how they are called in this game, but no, of course, no, I didn't yet. It's just an hour. Barely got through the tutorial, so yeah. Oh, this is gonna be This is gonna be a fun game to finish. I can already tell. It's really fun. It's so cute, and I'm a sucker for like farming and like this kind of... it's not like a life sim game, but it's so cute. Yeah, it's hard to explain. I don't know how to... like... This is pretty kind of a hard game to categorize in that kind of thing. Because it's not like farm sim in that kind of way. It's like closer to like... actually, maybe closest to a... like Terraria or something. It's complicated. Yeah, it's fun. That's really fun. Damn, that's adorable. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I'm really tempted to like continue, but I have other games. This is really high on the list that I want to finish soon. So, I think that's a good point to end today's stream, even though it's not been that long. It's been almost 1.5 hours. That's not a lot, but I'll try to stream far more often. But I also think that third loop is, for this game, a very good point to end this game on, because I want everybody else to go and play this on their own. I believe this has caused enough intrigue. I'm certainly going to give a review for the game, like I'm gonna play it through and then make a proper review for it. Holy crap, it's so good though. It's really freaking fun. It's so freaking fun. It's intriguing. It's the characterization and the mystery and the time. I really like this kind of meta-contextual, meta-textual, meta-fiction. This kind of, like, meta is it's really fun to talk about meta in this way. And this is done masterfully well. It's so much fun. I really enjoyed this so far. So it's fantastic. It's really freaking good. And I would really, really highly recommend everybody to go and play it. It's very, very freaking good. This is once again a game I have to like, I'm gonna give to a couple of my friends because, oh my god, that's far cheaper than I expected it to be. Anyway, yeah, it's good. It's really freaking good. Of course, the sound design is just out of this world, really good. I really like the soundtrack. It's very, very effective at augmenting the story, like in the experience in ways that it really supports the story really well. And all of the little effects, the visual effects, the panning of the camera, the little shaking of it's like all of those little details that enhance the story a lot. Now, of course, the time loop aspect itself is done in a... it's hard to say unique, because like all time loop stories have similar sort of structures to them, and it's just the characterization that makes them mostly unique. Now, of course, they do all of their like uniqueness to them, and it is a very difficult way of the storytelling to get right, and I really like how it is done here. Because it also like deals with agency and choices, and that is also like a metatextual feeling in a lot of visual novels that I really freaking love. Now, of course, they also handle a lot of topics and subjects relating to, like, that we can actually, like, in real life kind of have, like, a lot more relatability to it, which is a lot of, like, identity, family, and, well, you know, all of this stuff. And it's really nice. I really like that as well, because it's handled with a lot of proper care and aspect to them that, like, in a actual therapy is handled in some ways, and it also shows the downfalls of improper therapy in here, and it's done really freaking well. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this. It's because there's a lot of the aspects are something that I do relate to from my real life. For example, I have a lot of siblings. I have my own personal feelings about my parents, which, while not exactly correlated to the experience that the characters have gone in the story, it's something that resonates quite a lot. I just feel like the writing is done really well. It feels far more real than I expected it to be, and that it usually is when there is supernatural elements in a story. It feels far more grounded in reality than usual. And also, one of the aspects I really do enjoy is also something, it's kind of hard to explain, because agency is something that is very hard to express in a visual novel game. Especially in the way that it's been also questioned, which is a part of the inherent aspect of how visual novels are constructed, in the way that you can go back and time loop and make choices, and it sticks with you. And that is something that I feel was done very, very expertly here. And it's not yet finished, but it feels very, very good here. Yeah, it's very top notch. I'm giving a lot of compliments, but that's because I feel like it's so good. I'm just very ecstatic about this. And of course, the fact that you can just like skip over previous dialogue, like as with all visual novels, that's very common. It's how it's supposed to be, and that's good. But also, it's I don't know. The game doesn't feel slow in any sense of the word, but it doesn't feel rushed. Rather, it has a very, very excellent tempo. It has a really excellent pacing in the form of new revelations and new exploration of the topics at hand, and giving you more information and having you pulled into the mystery deeper and deeper. And it's really, really keeping me engaged very well. I'm gonna be playing this to the end on my own time as soon as possible, but also these aspects will be in the monthly recap, of course. So I'm pretty happy I got this through this part. Yeah, it's good. It's real good. It's really freaking good. Really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this a lot. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. So I don't have much else to say. I would really recommend everybody to play this. Well, yeah, if you like visual novels. If you would like this, you probably would like it. So I'm not gonna be spoiling it anymore. So next time we'll be going through something else, either the game world or content more. But yes, it's very good, very enjoyable. Yeah. And let's move on to the review. So, Pale City. Bit of an older style RPG made in a... I think this was made in RPG Maker, but it certainly didn't kind of like look like it. It had a very... let's call it a unique look. It has like a interesting 3D rendering style to it that kind of makes it kind of have a unique look to it. Like the visuals are at least kind of like that, they seem very unique, kinda. Like that, though it's like kind of the old school style of CG for the visuals, it still is like fairly eye-catching, to say the least. It does look rather unique, especially the monsters looked, you know, kind of decently interesting. And while the gameplay itself so far was, in the beginning, mostly just typical RPG stuff. That's not bad by itself. Now, I'm not exactly right now in the mood for grimdark, so this didn't exactly feel that good for me, but it is at least like it didn't feel bad per se. Just not something I exactly really want now. I really liked that the combat happened in the like visually in the style, that there was no hidden enemies or nothing like that, and you just run into those encounters and fought them in the map screen, and where you also move at the same time. So there's some really cool things here that I really liked, and if this is like done by one person, you know, it's actually kind of impressive, because even though the music itself isn't like that interesting, there is still like, if the music is made by one person, yeah, that's not bad. That's not too bad. That's fairly nice, and like generally so far the game seemed fairly interesting. It is an RPG through and through, so I kinda like it. There's a lot of exploration there, and while it already did have like a fairly like reasonably kind of slow start, but it still had like a lot of threads to be pulled, a lot more interesting exploration to be done there, and that seemed fairly nice. Now, it does feel like the person is trying to... I don't want to dunk on like singular creator. Their writing is like very heavily inspired, but that's not like in a bad way. More so that it's like clearly takes inspiration from older RPGs, which definitely seemed nice. One thing that I did kinda really like was actually the monster design, because even though they are like generated with, like they are like CGI monsters, it's at least something unique, something like from an old school RPG that has a nice feel to it, like a really older school like computer generated. Yeah, like those really, they have a nice look to them, even though they don't look like visually maybe perhaps appealing. They look striking, they look interesting, and they look at least unique, and that's something I really like. It has a very unique feeling to it, even if it has some rougher edges to it. It feels, well, it's not even that rough edges, it's just, of course, the lack of voice acting is a thing, but that's RPGs. What else would you do there? And just in general, it feels like there is a lot of setup here, and it feels like there is going to be a lot of game. But I just kind of wonder how... Now, it says that there's going to be a morally complex world, but that's hard to say from here. But it seemed interesting, so, you know, the more I let it fester in my mind, it starts to feel more and more intriguing, so kinda nice. Yeah, like, I actually, thinking on it, I kinda liked it. It could have been always better, but it wasn't like disappointing or annoying or anything like that, so I think that's fairly nice. Let's go to the review. So, Starshift Rebellion. So, it on the surface appeared to be mostly just an RPG Maker game, but it immediately surprised me very positively. It had a tactical combat system there for like spaceship combat, or at least vehicular combat, which already is a really huge addition to just the typical RPG style gameplay, and that is very cool. It was like a tactical grid-based combat system with a lot of really nice nuance to it. I really enjoyed that part. It seems like it has so many cool aspects to it that enhance and improve the experience in like make it just like different. So I really enjoyed that one quite a lot, quite a bit. And then okay, I took the brain drain for everyone. However, I feel like that seems very powerful, like too powerful for it to be actually fair. And the fact that you can just like take it for everyone is, I don't think that's okay. It's a huge investment for points, but it does pay itself off really quickly. So I don't think that's very exactly well balanced per se, but only time will tell. And of course the skill tree system, just like skills, I'm a sucker for skill trees, and that had it in spades so very well. And there was a lot of like unique skills, or at least a decent amount of unique skills that was for their like a race or their origin, like if they were like different alien or if they were cyborg or synthetic. There's like so many cool things there that I really liked. And also the fact that there is like two types of creatures, like there are synthetic and organic. That is already very cool. I really enjoyed that aspect as well. And the story, yeah, it's fine. It's like a hard to say. It starts to build itself like a space opera. It had like a reputation system and like some some different aspects that you could gather during this. I'm very excited for this. This seems so like cool, and of course like custom artwork, like not using the default sprites and default character sprites for the from RPG Maker. I like when a game has a lot more specialized stuff for it. Even though like RPG Maker games can be like entertaining, they can be good, they can be really good. The more customization you do the basic assets gives it always a lot more flair, and this game had it in spades, so it felt really fantastic. Like once again, since I'm a musician, that kind of always beats itself. So far the music was nothing special. Sound effects were actually, they used a lot of bleeps and bloops for like ending the dialogue, and that felt like a really not exactly the best choice. However, it's fine. Yeah, I just generally really enjoyed that quite a bit. And the reason why I called it quits a little bit earlier than usual is because it feels like this is something that's gonna like completely draw me in for a long while. Yeah. Recursive Ruin, a very interesting game, visually very stunning. I was really taken aback by how visually trippy it was. I absolutely loved it. So it is very strange, but it is very enjoyable. I don't know what else to say. Like, the game visually just shows exactly what it is. It is very much just a puzzle game, and a very unique one at that. Like, it's something with same to the Antechamber and what are you know, perspective games. It's fun. It's very cool. It's visually very stunning, and while the story itself is not too gripping yet, it is still very cool. The most of things is just visually quite the marvel to play. with all the kaleidoscopic landscapes and visually shifting areas all the time, like at will shifting terrain. It looks very beautiful. Yes, I really liked it. It's gonna be really high for me to complete. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Now for the final section, I will be talking about Arkham once again. The Arkham LCG, which we still keep playing this with my friends, because I have not played with every single investigator, and that is still something that we are going through. So, this time around we played through the campaign of Dream Eaters, which required 2 characters. And the 2 characters I was building, or rather I was playing, was Charlie Kane and Daisy Walker. So Charlie Kane is very much an ally-focused investigator, and let's just say that it was really fun to play with Charlie. I happened to go with something resembling a big money build, which did not go all according to plan, but still it was fairly fine. I really quite enjoyed it, and it was just generally very nice to play with Charlie Kane, even though it could have gone better, and I am not very good at with the character, but my friends were able to help me a lot. What I especially enjoyed was a combo of hit and run, and what was it called? It's freaking hit and run and calling in favors, because that kind of combination with having a lot of allies in your deck allows to do some silly cheating, money into play. Especially when you have characters that are either expensive or have activated abilities, or abilities that happen when they come into play. So yes, that combination was quite good. I really enjoyed it. Now on the Daisy Walker side, well, I have already played with Daisy before, and Tomes, while not especially powerful as an archetype, because there's not a lot of good Tomes out there. The new permanent that came from Drowned City, which is Library Pass. Let's just say that that card is freaking insane with Necronomicon, allowing you to cheat a lot of secrets and just repeating the Necronomicon constantly if you put that into play and use the Scroll of Secrets to get it back at the end when it goes back into your deck, at the bottom of the deck. So yeah, Necronomicon is just ridiculously powerful. What a surprise. And it was fun. Didn't really enjoy Daisy Walker that much because it was kinda repetitive, but that is also a lot due to my really bad deck construction. I'm not very good at the game, so you know how it is, but still, it was fun to test out the Necronomicon Library Pass combo. The next campaign, and yes, we have been playing at a very rapid pace. The next character I played was Daniela Reyes, I don't know, in a campaign of Forgotten Age, so we got to go through this campaign again, and I personally kinda enjoy this campaign. However, Daniela Reyes is... it's difficult to say out loud how awful Daniela Reyes plays, because it is just like that ability that you have to specifically provoke an attack, but not an attack of opportunity, makes Daniela just like absolutely awful to play. Now, testless damage is always very nice, but it's not good, so it went fairly well, but Daniela is just not very good, let's just say that. I didn't really enjoy playing with Daniela, but that's fine. The campaign ended kind of fine, I'd say. And then the third campaign we played during these 3 months was Edge of the Earth, and I happened to be playing Darrel Simmons. I really liked the Edge of the Earth campaign, and we got very, very unlucky in that we didn't get the best ending, but we did get a very good ending regardless. And I very much enjoyed how Darrel Simmons played, because the whole kind of archetype to investigate with basically 0 difficulty and doing like reducing difficulty of enemies or tests to 0, for example, allowed for exploit weakness, especially in this campaign, to do some really silly stuff. Most specifically with the flashlight, but also Darrel's own ability to reduce difficulty. One of the really important things that helped in this campaign was empirical hypothesis, because it also used evidence, and that was a very easy card to fill up. And also I did put enough points into empirical hypothesis to allow it to be triggered by other players as well, which allowed me to pump cards for my friends, which that is always very nice to be able to support your friends like that. But yes, it was an interesting archetype, I really kinda enjoyed it, and I really went hard with a Dark Horse Mariner's Compass as well, but there was like a lot of things I was doing and I could have done them better, and I was going into so many different directions, and all of it was fine actually, just fine. But yeah, it was fine to test out this kind of archetype. I haven't played a lot of survivors, so it was nice. Could have been better, but could have been a lot worse, and Darrel was exceptionally kind of fun. And the final campaign we went through was Innsmouth Conspiracy, and I happened to be playing Dexter Drake. And I really enjoyed playing Dexter Drake as a sort of a symbol revealer. I enjoy a lot of the new cards, the specialist cards that came out here, which were specifically, in my case, I was using the Storm Ruler, Memories of Another Life, and Captivating Performance. But we failed, so the campaign ended prematurely. I enjoyed how it went, but it didn't go exactly according to plan. It could have gone a lot better, but we got, unfortunately, rather unlucky. It's a rather cruel campaign, let's just say that. But it was fun. I kinda enjoyed it as much as I could have, but it could have gone a lot better. And I just got overzealous with the permanent, the great work. So, you know how it is. You get punished for your greed. And with that, we have gone through everything. Now, I have been done a lot of reading, like a lot of reading on manga and a lot of books, and I've been doing a lot of research for other purposes, which I will not be able to reveal yet due to legal obligations. I don't know if I will be able to, because you know how NDAs are. I will have to see if that project comes out, and if it doesn't, I might be able to talk about it. And even if it does, I should be able to talk about it later once it is out. There's a lot of stuff I've been doing. A lot of things have been eventful, but I'm very hopeful for the future. And there's a lot of things that have been going on right now, and I'm very grateful to be able to be doing this stuff. And I could be in a better place. I'm not in a bad spot, and I've been very fortunate that I have a lot of important people in my life. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope to see you in the future. Have a great day and stay amazing. Gunmu out.